Hey guys, today I'm going to show you a simple hack that'll help you burn more fat and get better weight loss results from the cardio you're already doing anyway. Hi, I'm Aaron Garza, founder here at Pure Line Nutrition, and I'm going to show you this, but first I want to give you a little bit of backstory about me and how I kind of figured this out. So back in the mid to late 90s, I was really into competitive bodybuilding. I was working out, training, doing shows, and that all kind of went on up in the mid 2000s or so. And you did pretty much anything you had to do to get as lean as humanly possible. Get shredded, get that really paper thin skin, look really vascular. I mean, you're gonna be on stage in front of a ton of people, so you wanted to make sure and do your homework, right? So there were a lot of things we did, and some of them have stood the test of time. Other ones people don't do anymore, and some of them are a little more clandestine, and others are, pretty much out in the open now. The clandestine ones were taking simple thyroid medications and thermogenics like clenbuterol and things to help really burn body fat. But some of the stuff that's still around that actually did work were things like, the ECA Stack, using ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin 3 times a day. And that was simply, 200 milligrams of caffeine, something like a no-dose or a Vivarin. I don't even know if they make that anymore, with 25 milligrams of ephedrine hydrochloride and a little bit of aspirin. And you would take this little, cocktail 3 times a day to really charge up fat loss. If some of you were around back in the days of ephedrine and Ritfuel and Zenadrin and Hydroxycut, that was all pretty much an ECA Stack was. Over time, ephedrine became unusable anymore. The FDA cracked down on it just because there were a lot of issues with that being converted into methamphetamine. So obviously, it probably did work. And I can tell you it worked incredibly well for fat loss. The problem was you just were so amped up all the time. You take it at 7 in the morning, 1 o'clock, 5 in the afternoon, and you were just up and down throughout the day, burning calories, not eating. You were just cracked out, but it worked, and people lost tremendous amounts of weight. I would see people lose 20, 25, 30 pounds over the course of 8 weeks. Not unlike what you're seeing with Ozempic and Wegovy today, but in a much harsher way. The other piece of that was people would use something to accelerate fat loss during cardio. And that it's really interesting because I remember using this certain something, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. I remember back in the late 90s, it came like in a rancid oil. It was just so gross. I mean, you had to take a tablespoon of it, mix it with like coffee, and just slam it in the morning before you did your cardio, which is another trick, that, apparently worked better for fat loss. Doing your cardio first thing in the morning on a completely empty stomach. The thought process behind that obviously was that you had been fasted and asleep for about 6 to 8 hours. So, the first thing that your body would utilize as a fuel source would be fat cells or fat. So, today there's a lot of debate about this and whether or not it's even necessary to do cardio fasted first thing in the morning. I'll tell you what, I don't know if it's, what science says, that as long as you do cardio, that you'll still get the fat burning effect that you need. But I tend to believe that there was something to it. I tend to always see my best fat loss results when I did cardio first thing in the morning, taking that little oil that I'm going to tell you about shortly, along with my ECA Stack, and hitting the step mill or the Stairmaster and doing 30, 40 minutes. And there's a couple of things, there are a couple of reasons I think that worked. Number one, I think you kind of invested in your body early in the day, and essentially you did something and you're kind of like, I don't want to go eat and, do junk food and all that stuff because I've already worked out. I've already done my cardio for the day, so I'm going to keep it clean the rest of the day. The other thing is it just kind of started the metabolic furnace burning. So those were some interesting things that we did back in the late 90s on through the 2000s, and which some people still do today. Again, like I said, some things are debatable, but do they work? I think so. But let me talk to you about those 2 things that I did as far as the ECA Stack and that little oil I was telling you about. And I'm going to show you what you can do today that is exactly like that. In fact, it's the same exact thing, but it tastes a lot better. Come with me. Okay, so you remember I was talking about first that ECA Stack, which was ephedrine hydrochloride, 25 milligrams with about 200 milligrams of caffeine from Vivarin or no-dose, and then a little bit of white willow or aspirin to kind of help the formula work better. Well, we've got something pretty much that works exactly the same today, but it's a lot more of an eloquent formula, or I should say it's a much more eloquent formula in the fact that it doesn't give you all the jittery effects that the ECA Stack does, but still elevates your body temperature and forces the body to work to keep itself cooler, which is how it mainly burns calories. Also suppresses appetite and increases energy, which is one of the core ways that, by the way, Ozempic and Wegovy are working, is to decrease appetite or keep your appetite suppressed. Now, the first thing we utilize for the ECA, or instead of the ECA Stack, would be XP2G. This is a formula we've had for 20 plus years. It works well, and we've got it in 3 different varieties: Aftershock, Blue Fire, and Inferno. Blue Fire is our newer version, and let me tell you, it is awesome. So in terms of getting more out of cardio, what I would do is take 1 capsule about 30 minutes before you do cardio, whether that's fasted first thing in the morning or any other time during the day, but do be aware that it does have caffeine, so you wouldn't want to take it like immediately before cardio if you're doing cardio in the afternoon or late at night or something like that. So that's number 1. This kind of fills that void for the ECA Stack that you can no longer get, but does the same thing. It will accelerate fat loss. Now, the other thing that I talked about that was kind of a rancid oil, well, what I was talking about was L-Carnitine. And L-Carnitine is an amino acid that helps transport fat from the fat cell into the bloodstream so that your body can utilize it better during cardio. That helps you burn more fat. Remember in the beginning of the video when I said, how would you like to burn more fat from doing the same amount of cardio that you're already doing? Well, that's where L-Carnitine comes in. Back in the day, it used to come in a little glass bottle with a red label, and I think it was Bricker Labs or something like that. And like I said, it tasted absolutely pretty nasty. Well, thank God nowadays we've got a lot better refinement techniques, a lot better supplementation, a lot better processing, and all the stuff that goes into creating a supplement, so we can actually make them taste good. Our Lean FX product is an L-Carnitine formula, except it actually has a different form of L-Carnitine, L-Carnitine Tartrate, as well as the L-Carnitine base, which burns even more body fat or helps the body release more fat to be burned at a higher rate. And this comes in Bomb Pop and Miami Cocktail. Those are our 2 flavors. So this is kind of basically what I would do before cardio. You know, I would take my tablespoon of L-Carnitine, which if you're taking this is about a capful, and then 1 to 2 capsules of your thermogenic like ECA. And you would do this again, like I said, right before cardio or 30 minutes before, let it kick in so that you're burning more calories. You probably want to slam this down with about 1 liter of water so you're super hydrated. And it works very well. I mean, even to this day, even if you're on Ozempic or Wegovy and you still want to accelerate fat loss and you're exercising, these are 2 core compounds that you can use to help increase the process of fat loss. They work really well. So questions that we get sometimes about these products, do I need to use them before every workout? Not necessarily every workout. If you're working with weights, if you're doing strength training, probably you could do without. But if you are doing cardio, absolutely. Now, another question is, well, what if I work out late at night, let's say 5, 6, or late in the afternoon, 5, 6 p.m., I do my weight training and then do my 30 minutes of cardio, would I still want to take a stimulant? Well, probably not, because obviously it's going to keep you up. But the cool thing about L-Carnitine is it acts as a stimulant-free fat loss agent. So you can utilize this even before cardio late in the afternoon or cardio late at night. We've got a lot of people who do, you know, split shifts where they work during the nighttime and they get off like at 4 in the morning and they go straight to the gym before they go home to sleep, and they'll utilize L-Carnitine as something to help them burn more fat while they train, but obviously it won't keep them up. So those are some really good benefits for the L-Carnitine product and the ECA hybrid, or the ECA kind of new stack that we have with the XP2G Blue Fire. Guys, that will help you burn more fat while doing the same amount of cardio. You don't have to change anything. Of course, keep your diet clean, do all that other stuff that you're already doing. But just a couple of simple hacks that if you add to your program right now will help you accelerate your fat loss results. If you have any questions, give us a call, 1-800-632-1402. You can also email us at info@thepureline.com. We're happy to answer any questions about your health, fitness, weight loss, fat loss, muscle building goals. And visit us online at www.thepureline.com. Until next time, we'll see you later.